watching Choppin' It Up with Roger Cador and Perry White.
It is a Monday morning, and you know when this show gets started and you hear this voice, it is Chopping It Up with Coach Cador. Of course, he's the man, the myth, the legend, Roger Cador. I'm Perry White, my man on the board, Garrett Edgerson. And we got Aaron in the building today. Good morning to everybody out there listening. We'll be back for another episode. So if you subscribed, I'm sure you got the notification. It came down, and if you're not a subscriber, you hit that subscribe button right there underneath the video so next time you will be able to get it. You never know what day of the week we may jump on and do this thing. Last week it was on a Wednesday. Today is on a Monday, but we typically try to continue keeping it going on the Monday. Coach, good morning. How are you?
Where's that subscribe button? I've been trying to – I don't see it. It doesn't say it. Tell me.
Well, with us looking up there, the subscribe button is typically right there.
Okay.
And if for everybody that's watching, we're watching ourselves on the video, but because we're actually on the page, you can't subscribe to your own page.
Well, the reason when I'm looking at TikTok, then there may be something I want to subscribe to.
TikTok? You on TikTok?
I look at it every now and then.
Aaron, did you put him on TikTok, Aaron? What is he doing on TikTok? What do you?
It just popped up on my phone.
What do you look at on TikTok? You know, everybody have their preference.
History.
Oh, you like history?
Yes. I don't listen to all that other stuff. I only deal with stuff that have historical value.
Yeah. I look at stuff about food. You know, I watch how people cook food from different areas, and sometimes you find out little things that they add that just make it look so good. Right?
You had a good weekend?
I did, man. I had a good weekend. I ain't do nothing but stayed out the heat. It's been hotter than ever around here. The news people said, the meteorologist said August is going to be the hottest month ever recorded. Predicted to be the hottest month ever recorded. And this always, we have these conversations. This can't be that same heat from when I was a little kid and used to go outside. Just doesn't seem like it.
What we talking about today?
What you want to talk about? You sound like you want to get to something specific. What do you want to talk about?
Well, I want to talk about the Henry Aaron or Hank Aaron invitation that I was at. Aaron and I were down there a week or so ago, and last night the 15 to 18-year-old kids played a game in Church Park in Atlanta. So very good game, 4-3, competitive game. Got to see some really talented young people.
When you look at, I guess, baseball on that level with that age group, what are some of the things that you can typically tell that in today's age, does it seem like they're picking up a lot faster or a lot better compared to, I would say, past years, especially when you have better training facilities, better opportunities to be advanced when you look at methods of growth and development at the game?
Advanced they certainly are. And it's a multitude of things that have gotten these kids to where they are. Training, nutrition, just other things. I mean, you know, the physical activity they participate in is different than when we did. We never had any weight training program. All we did was play. But I'm looking at so many young kids. The group I'm most impressed with was the 13 to 15-year-old, who I really think is better than the 15 to 18-year-old.
Now, what would give you something to say like that? Why would you say that?
They just had it. You know, when they had they can do a lot of stuff. And
do they look more poised, developed?
They're just this. You can't tell much different.
Yeah.
They have big bodies too. I tell people, this is a whole different world, man.
Yeah.
Parents are making the investment in their kids with the hope that the kids are going to give them a big payback. Mm-hmm. I think it's wrong, but that's what they do. That's what they do. I mean, you know, they selfishly are putting their kids in situations so they can get a payback. And they forget only 2% gonna give them the payback.
Yeah.
98% ain't giving you that payback. But they really don't understand the thing. That's why I tell kids, sports may not be the way you want to go because of the high percentage of failure. Mm-hmm. There are so many other fields you can go in where the success rate is a lot higher.
What does NIL look like for college baseball We hear about it so much about football. You see it now growing into the basketball area, but I think a lot of people don't talk about it much in baseball and the value that goes into some of these collegiate baseball players. Because can some of these guys with NIL deals make more than what guys are making in the minor leagues?
Well, in baseball, there ain't going to be a lot of NIL deals to start with. Only the top of the top kids are going to get them. I mean, that's just the way it is. That's what's happening in the other sports. Everybody's not getting the NIL deal. It's the top players. So baseball goes the same way. And remember, after football and basketball and women's basketball get their deal, there ain't much left out there. So the top kids are going to get it. So there's nothing much to be discussed about that.
And I ask that because you're talking about the investment of you starting to see parents put into these young people, the training. It just seems like sometimes it's just overdoing it, but it's to get them on track to possibly become successful and get to Major League Baseball. How accepting is Major League Baseball when they look at this huge group of young people trying to get there? Do they potentially want in the future maybe to expand to get more teams to try to open up their different markets?
Could be.
Yeah.
Baseball will expand. They had to figure out this Oakland situation. Oakland hurt expansion for baseball when they moved to Vegas. Had Oakland worked out and they could stay in Oakland, then you got two cities you can go into. You had Vegas and you got Nashville. Both of them, Nashville is ready. Obviously, Vegas is there. Now what the commissioner and people got to figure out, who can we bring along with Nashville? You saw it storming the country. The place that comes to mind to me is Charlotte. Charlotte, now you take a little away from Atlanta, but the Braves is successful, so may not hurt as much. You got me? So now Charlotte becomes a real key player because they have the demographics. They got the right kind of people there. They've got the right kind of economic setup.
What about a city like Memphis?
No.
No?
Don't have it. It doesn't have it. It doesn't have the necessities to do it. That's why it's so hard to find a city now.
Yeah.
That's why Oakland had to stay. Now, will the next group of owners go in and say, can we go into Oakland and get the city to back us on the plane? That would be the next thing. Because normally when a team leaves a city, another team don't go right back in there.
Yeah, it's tough. You know why I was kind of shocked you didn't mention New Orleans.
Don't have the demographic.
That's what I was going to ask. What has always seemed to hamper New Orleans when it comes to baseball coaching?
No, you don't have the numbers, and you got Houston right there. You can't take away from 300 some miles radius. They have to protect. There's a zone that they have to protect for the teams that are already in existence. Major League Baseball don't want to compete with another team that's already in that area. So that's why New Orleans wouldn't work. So that's why it's tough. It's going to be tough. Even you talk about Salt Lake City. Well, you got Colorado right there. I mean, you talk about Portland. You got Seattle. You see, so when you start naming cities, you can't get within a 400-500 mile radius where you don't draw from them, And, could New York handle another team?
Oh, come on, man. That's enough already. You got the Yankees and the Mets. I don't even think the fans in New York will be accepting to an extra team.
Well, I just asked the question.
The same way like Chicago.
Yeah, they can.
Between the
anybody
Cubs
can
and
L.A. Anybody L.A.
L.A. maybe could.
They got 30 million.
L.A. is so vast and huge in that area where I think you could open up another fan base.
No, there's too many.
You think besides the Angels and the Dodgers, that's just simply it?
And then the Padres right there too, a little bit 2 hours away.
See what I'm saying?
Hey, listen, Listen, let's go. The other city I didn't mention is Jacksonville.
Florida.
Jacksonville could be a long or a dark horse. It's far enough from Tampa.
Mm-hmm.
It's far enough from Miami. You got me? And it's far enough from Atlanta.
Jacksonville could. That
Be a dog horse.
I could see that.
We don't mention Jacksonville.
Jacksonville don't support their own football team right now. They don't need a baseball team.
They just made did they just make the playoffs like the first time in
They
forever?
did, but they still don't support their football team. They got a whole home game in London every year.
Yeah, they do. I think they could sustain baseball. I think baseball could make it in Jacksonville, Florida. I really do.
I mean, all I said it was a possibility of dog horse.
But when you mention Nashville, as much as it has grown, that really makes much sense too.
Oh no, Nashville is definitely a player.
Yeah.
You know, Nashville is definitely a player. Obviously, if Nashville comes on board, I'm working with them.
Oh, you going over to Nashville?
Well, I maybe won't live there, but I will be doing work with them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if they come on board. So, and it's not something I'm looking forward to, but I've been told I'm on board.
What about a city like Indianapolis?
Too close to Chicago. No, I mean the geographics.
Yeah. Because you got
That'll be
Detroit.
close to everything, though.
Yeah,
If
you got
Indianapolis
Cleveland.
right now.
You
Right.
have
Oh,
Chicago,
Cleveland.
Milwaukee. That wouldn't add an extra little beef in there?
You got too many teams over there right now.
Okay, so no Indianapolis. Okay.
The only place is in the West if they could find a place in the West.
Mm-hmm.
Because you got enough people, and you have Denver, Colorado, Seattle, and the teams in California.
Mm-hmm.
Every other team is in the Midwest or the East.
Yeah. And everybody's along that eastern seaboard.
And Texas definitely could not take another.
I mean, they could. You know,
No, man. If you gonna tell me L.A.
San Antonio been wanting something.
San
outside of the
Antonio, but
Spurs.
it's close to Houston. That's the problem. With San Antonio, I didn't name it, but I know it. I've been looking at it, but they say too close to Houston. What San Antonio could do is draw down from the southern border, but you don't have those people are not middle-class people to a large extent. And that's really what you need.
The San Antonio Alamos.
When you play 82 home games, you need people who can pay the parking. I mean, it's expensive.
Yeah.
So that's why you can't just emotionally say this team or that team.
Because I always used to watch, when I was younger, you watch baseball, and of course, you watch midweek games, and you see all these people at the stadium. I'm like, what the hell do these people do to be sitting in the stadium midweek, not at work, with these expensive tickets, eating these high hot dogs and nachos? Where's the money? What are they doing? And that just tells you, man, that the type of fan base, like you say, you got to be able to reach out to be able to get in. And one of the things I saw when I was in Chicago, they was talking about the White Sox, of course, is on the South Side, how people have been trying to scam you like fake parking attendants when you're coming off the interstate to park. And people have been paying these fake attendants to park $30, $40, $50 and then get there, and these people not even real attendants. So you got that's happening around as a place. But it's just you deal with certain things with certain areas when I brought that up because of that, with the South Side Sox, White Sox being on the South Side of Chicago, and you have those type of issues. So I like Nashville, now that you mention it. It's really settling in on me. But San Antonio, I just can't get away. The San Antonio Alamos, I just think that's a baseball team. That just sounds like a good baseball team to me. You ain't feeling that?
It's not going to work too close to Houston.
All right. Huh?
No, it's just, I mean,
Yeah.
it's just, they're just don't have enough. Now, what I did mention is that internationally, Vancouver, Montreal has been mentioned again. Then Mexico.
Yeah.
And I know that they want to move. They want to really go international. They want to look at Korea. They want to look at Australia. All of those are long-term plans because I've been in the boardroom. I know those are very long-term plans.
Mm-hmm.
Till they get those planes that can get them there quicker.
Mm-hmm.
And those planes are coming on board in the next 4 or 5 years that can travel.
Europe, as much as they try to get
They're
NFL
good,
into Europe, does
looking
MLB like?
They're looking at Europe too.
Okay.
They're looking at Brazil. Brazil has got almost 400 million people.
Of course.
See, a lot of people don't understand how these people are doing their research. They have research team doing them, giving them information. They're not basing it on emotion.
Mm-hmm.
They're doing it based upon research and statistics that they have at their disposal.
That what you call it, the analytics.
They got all of that.
All right, let's take a break. We'll come back. We'll have more of Chopping It Up with Cador. All right, we'll be right back.
Some Baton Rouge business travelers travel out of Baton Rouge. Some don't. The ones that do know BTR is all about being closer, more convenient, with non-stops and short hops to anywhere their business takes them. They also know not flying BTR means more traffic, longer lines, and wasted time. So if it's about going from driveway to runway with a lot less highway, isn't it about time you flew BTR? Baton Rouge Metro Airport. It's about time. Smart Baton Rouge business travelers travel out of Baton Rouge because BTR is so close and convenient, they're always one step ahead, rather than dead on their feet. So, isn't it about time you flew BTR? Baton Rouge Metro Airport.
Getting a letter from the IRS that you owe back taxes can be scary, but it doesn't have to be. Call Go Tax Resolution in Lafayette at 337-420-1040 today. We'll help stop garnishments, levies, and seizures immediately. With over 35 years of dealing directly with the IRS, our team of local professionals will help you pay the least amount possible. So if you owe back taxes to the IRS, you need help. Call the tax professionals at Go Tax Resolution in Lafayette at 337-420-1040. Your go-to tax relief.
Looking to get some keys made, locks rekeyed, or a wide variety of new and used safe? Then look no further than the trusted choice of Alfred Safe and Lock. Conveniently located off of Government Street in Mid-City, Baton Rouge. Trust the expert locksmith at Alfred for all of your residential, commercial, and industrial lock and safe needs. Trusted by Baton Rouge and me, Roger Cador, to protect what is yours since 1946.
Take your fun full throttle with a single touch. There are places to fly high, swing low, or make the old bell ring. Your targets are in sight. Better your game by playing ball of almost every variety. Need to catch your breath? Have a passion? We've got the place. Gear up for where the rubber meets the mud, or stir up memories of a lifetime. Reach new heights, gravitate towards something out of this world, even travel back in time. You might like a little drama in your life, or get in touch with your inner nature lover. Release some pent-up energy while you're at it. There's plenty to do beyond the swing sets. BRAC, we're more than a playground.
Hey, Coach Roger Cador here. There's something about teamwork that brings the best out in any business. When I need a tow, I call Roadrunner Towing. Roadrunner's 4 generations strong and homegrown right here in Baton Rouge.
Thanks, Coach. There's no job too large or too small. Call Roadrunner for quick, reliable, exceptional service. We don't want an arm and a leg. We just want your toes. And remember, take time each day to be a blessing to someone. Thank you.
With over 60 years of combined experience, Kathy Sherburne and Anna Barnett bring a wealth of knowledge and excitement to the framing industry. Keeping strong to the Louisiana culture, Acadian Frame and Art has numerous local artists and sports team memorabilia for their customers to choose from. Whether you're creating a gallery-like setting in your office or simply looking for some fun art for your kids' playroom, Acadian Frame and Art is your one-stop picture framing spot. Call 225-927-6129 or go to www.acadianframe.com.
All right, we're back. Interesting conversations we're having off air, but welcome back to Chopping It Up with Coach Roger Cador. Of course, he's the man, the myth, the legend, Roger Cador and Perry White. Garrett Edgerton on the board. We got Aaron in the house today. And good morning to everybody out there. Good morning, Edwin Moore tuning in. He said good morning, Coach Perry and Garrett. And he said also he agreed that L.A. is saturated, but he says the fans aren't passionate. And we got Aaron in the house. Aaron is from that West Coast area. She did not agree with that. She said they just got more things to worry about. The passion is there. They just a little too busy to be, doing all that extra stuff. So maybe that's why they can't handle another team. He's just too busy, right? Want to go to the beach, want to sit in traffic, just all those other things that they rather do than go to a game. Coach.
Yeah.
We got through talking about the Hank Aaron invitation. You said, man, this new generation of ball players, they're going to be different. But something that's even better that you talked to me about, you heading back over to your old stomping grounds, your native land around New Roads, and you're going to be a speaker for a very, very, very special occasion. Talk to the people out there about that occasion and what you're going to be speaking.
Well, that's the 100-year anniversary for the naming of New Roads. The school there, and they reached out to me to come and be the speaker, and I said yes. And so what I did,
what'd you say to him?
Yes. Aaron would have hurt me if I had said no. And plus, my sister would have never let me say no.
Mm-hmm.
But I did some research, and I had known some things about the name Rosenwald,
mm-hmm.
but I dug really deep into it and found out that Julian Rosenwald was a German Jewish immigrant who was the head of Sears Robot Company, and he put up the seed money to build over 5,000 schools in the South.
Mm-hmm.
And he hooked up with Booker T. Washington, who was then the president at Tuskegee University. And they worked together. And the most amazing thing that I found out, Perry, is that the black people at that time, in 1917, something like that, they put up $4.7 million to help build the schools. They were interested in helping educate the young people, unlike maybe what is happening today at a larger scale.
Mm-hmm.
But the commitment was there, and they were able to get it done. Now, these weren't no elaborate schools. They were 1, 2, and 3 bedroom schools, but they got the job done. And a lot of people, once that they got it moving, there was no stopping them, because it turned out to be a really renaissance in what happened after that, with so many young people being able to now go to college. Like in my situation in New Road, when they built the school in 7th grade. So that means once you get there, your education was over with. And then in 58, they started made it a high school, which then they were able to educate people from 1st through the 12th grade, which obviously helped a great deal.
Talk about your own personal experience at that particular school in New Roads and what life was like going to a Rosenwald school.
Well, I didn't get there until much later. My situation was a lot different in that we didn't really get to go to school other than follow the law to register your kids in school. And then once they register, it was back to the fields. And then we'll get to go maybe December, January, in the cold months when all the crop had been taken in. So you go 2 months. Now, what are you going to be able to learn in 2 months? That's what I had to deal with. And for some reason, I never had the hope of giving up, only the hope of getting out of there.
Mm-hmm.
The dream and determination, and fortunately, I was able to do it. I never stopped dreaming, and you see, people stop dreaming and believing in themselves. A lot of difficulty was ahead of me. Disappointment, setbacks, almost on a daily basis. But I kept using them as motivating factors, knowing one day that I was going to be better off and I could get across that hump.
Overall, what was those educators like back then when you talk about the Rosenwald School and the ability to educate a community that was missing that portion of it?
I think they understood that they made an assessment. The kids who really were able to do the work, they kept motivating them and pushing them. And they do the very best to lift the other kids. But I think they understood that the kids who really had it, they had to make sure that they get it because they were the one going to be able to go out and come back and then lift as many other people up as they could after that. I really understood that because a lot of people would say, oh, she playing favor, or he playing favor to so-and-so. But that was not the case. They really understood if a kid has got ability, we've got to make sure we keep motivating them so they can go out and then come back later. And that's what it really was about. That's not the case today. Once kids leave, they ain't coming back, you know? And so I understood the situation, but I appreciate them. The one thing I came through, Perry, is that social promoting, it ain't worth it because it's going to catch up with you. Mm-hmm. It caught up with me, but I understood it. Again, I was one of those never give up kind of person and fought my way through it, but I'm really against social promoting people. That's not a good thing.
When you look at overall, I guess the idea of the Rosenwald School, and you look at the idea of investing, that's investing in education to communities who may not have had education. And you look at the world today when you talk about our communities, and I hear all of these stories from back in the day of these great educators, the investment into education, the emphasis on the importance of getting the education. Then I kind of look at the world today, and it's kind of like education for some reason is just shunned away. It's pushed to the side. There's not an emphasis on how big education is, what it can do to change your life, where it can take you in the world. Where do you think it started to change? Where did it go wrong from people wanting to invest in education and wanting to go to school to get better to now it seems like people would rather skip out on it?
I don't know when it started going wrong. I do know that it is going wrong now. But I can't give you a starting point.
Yeah.
You know, like everything else, it didn't happen overnight. You got me? It's a progression. You don't get cancer today and you're dead tomorrow. Mm-hmm. It's a progression. So it started somewhere, but I can't tell you where. Education is important. That's why we would deny education, because back then they didn't want the blacks to be educated, mm-hmm. because then they could use their head and make decisions. And with knowledge, you can make really good decisions, mm-hmm. you know. And so we were denied that for some foolish reason. I often think about it. I often say, you know, the people who did all of this wrong to black folks, they all are dead now to the large extent. Mm-hmm. And look at the progress blacks have made. Mm-hmm. In spite of somebody having a 400-year run, they're running ahead of you 400 years. They had that kind of lead, and you're catching up. But the other thing, I was talking to a friend of mine, and I said, you know, when back in slavery, when the white man was mating the strongest black man with the strongest black woman, he was doing it for a selfish reason. Mm-hmm. He was doing it so they could give strong offspring, so he could have another strong person to pick cotton and do the heavy work. Mm-hmm. He couldn't see beyond that. Look what he's created now. Mm-hmm. This is why we're superior in so many regards. Because of the decision made 400 years ago. And look what produced people like you and Garrett and Aaron. All of us benefited from the wrong that they put on us. And when I looked at, I was in Vero Beach looking at the kids at the Hank Aaron Invitation. It's a direct correlation of what they did. These kids are really super. And it, just like Lynchburg said, this will last 1,000 years. He's correct. What they did back then will last 1,000 years. Black folks are coming and are going to do a lot of great things.
When you talk about education and for you going into homes for many, many years of poor communities, middle-class communities, sometimes going into homes of kids who was very well off, and you harping on education, how much did you try to have to instill that this is going to change your life, not just baseball, but education?
Well, they all knew that. Even the poor parents, that poor mother knew that it was going to benefit their kids. Okay? So it was an easy sell, me going in and talking about education. They wanted it because no one in their family had seen it. The light of day relate to education. So they were happy about it. And I have to say about 80% of my kids did get a degree. And to me, that's a pretty good, you want 100, but you're never going to get 100. Nobody's perfect.
You know, growing up, my mom told me something that makes sense now, but it didn't then. She said, when you get older, Perry, the world is going to change. You're going to look at it from a different perspective. It's going to seem like the wise man is the fool and the fool is the wise man. And I didn't understand that then, but now when I look around at the world, and I can remember growing up, you know, the smart kids got picked on. You're the nerd, you're this, you're that, you know, but then it made it seem like to get an education, to raise your hand, to answer questions, to make good test scores, as though that was something to be wrong. And I think that type of behavior and that culture in this forever so changing world that we live in of everybody wanting to be accepted, everybody want to be liked, everybody want to feel a part of, that is so easy to fall into that realm to where just because you want to be accepted, you will go against the opportunities that could ultimately take your life somewhere with an education. And I think that's what we're starting to see around of, I'd rather be cool than be smart. But cool ain't going to get you nowhere, right? Cool ain't going to fill up your car. Cool ain't going to put no money in your pocket. Cool ain't going to take care of your family. The education will. And I think that's the bad choice that we're starting to see with a youth movement of wanting to be so cool but not thinking about the part of education, especially when you don't have nobody at home to push it at you.
Teachers used to say all the time when I was growing up, empty wagons makes a lot of noise. Just think about it. An empty wagon makes a lot of noise. And that guy or girl who was acting foolish because to try and hurt or embarrass the smart kid, they couldn't do much. That's why they did it. They were insecure and jealous.
That's it.
And I saw it happen a great deal too. This is why when I was coaching, and if I had a smart kid that couldn't play very well, I made sure I befriended him. I let him know that he was important. And I try to keep him as close to me as possible. So he would feel secure in himself, you got me? Because the other guys, it's a history of this kind of foolishness. Whether it's in athletics or academic world, they do that. So I know about it, and that's why I kept those kids as close to me as possible so they wouldn't lose the confidence in what they really could do. They were never going to be good baseball players. But boy, they were going to make us look good with good grades.
Hey, could be your future lawyer or something, huh? Real estate agent, you never know.
You never know.
All right, let's get ready to take a break. We'll come back. Let's pay some bills. Be back with more of Chopping It Up with Coach Cador, all right?
Some Baton Rouge business travelers travel out of Baton Rouge. Some don't. The ones that do know BTR is all about being closer, more convenient, with nonstops and short hops to anywhere their business takes them. They also know not flying BTR means more traffic, longer lines, and wasted time. So if it's about going from driveway to runway with a lot less highway, isn't it about time you flew BTR? Baton Rouge Metro Airport. It's about time. Smart Baton Rouge business travelers travel out of Baton Rouge because BTR is so close and convenient, they're always one step ahead, rather than dead on their feet. So, isn't it about time you flew BTR? Baton Rouge Metro Airport.
Getting a letter from the IRS that you owe back taxes can be scary, but it doesn't have to be. Call Go Tax Resolution in Lafayette at 337-420-1040 today. We'll help stop garnishments, levies, and seizures immediately. With over 35 years of dealing directly with the IRS, our team of local professionals will help you pay the least amount possible. So if you owe back taxes to the IRS, you need help. Call the tax professionals at Go Tax Resolution in Lafayette at 337-420-1040. Your go-to tax relief.
Looking to get some keys made, locks rekeyed, or a wide variety of new and used safe? Then look no further than the trusted choice of Alfred Safe & Lock. Conveniently located off of Government Street in Mid-City, Baton Rouge. Trust the expert locksmith at Alfred for all of your residential, commercial, and industrial lock and safe needs. Trusted by Baton Rouge and me, Roger Cador, to protect what is yours since 1946.
Take your fun full throttle with a single touch. There are places to fly high, swing low, or make the old bell ring. Your targets are in sight. Better your game by playing ball of almost every variety. Need to catch your breath? Have a passion? We've got the place. Gear up for where the rubber meets the mud, or stir up memories of a lifetime. Reach new heights, gravitate towards something out of this world, even travel back in time. You might like a little drama in your life, or get in touch with your inner nature lover. Release some pent-up energy while you're at it. There's plenty to do beyond the swing sets. BRAC, we're more than a playground.
Hey, Coach Roger Cador here. There's something about teamwork that brings the best out in any business. When I need a tow, I call Roadrunner Towing. Roadrunner's 4 generations strong and homegrown right here in Baton Rouge.
Thanks, Coach. There's no job too large or too small. Call Roadrunner for quick, reliable, exceptional service. We don't want an arm and a leg. We just want your toes. And remember, take time each day to be a blessing to someone. Thank you.
With over 60 years of combined experience, Kathy Sherburne and Anna Barnett bring a wealth of knowledge and excitement to the framing industry. Keeping strong to the Louisiana culture, Acadian Frame and Art has numerous local artists and sports team memorabilia for their customers to choose from. Whether you're creating a gallery-like setting in your office or simply looking for some fun art for your kids' playroom, Acadian Frame and Art is your one-stop picture framing spot. Call 225-927-6129 or go to www.acadianframe.com.
All right, we're back. More chopping it up with Coach Roger Cador. Of course, he's Roger Cador. I'm Perry White, my man on the board. Garrett Edgerton. Garrett, what's up, man? We got to talk to us a little bit. What's going on back there? It's a little hot in here, huh?
It is very hot. I'm tired of
where kids are getting ready to go back to school. They're going to be out doing different types of calisthenics. When you talk about at practice, man, you have to stay hydrated. Here in South Louisiana right now, it's been 100-degree days on top of the heat index. You're looking at 114, 115. With humidity, that would do a lot when you talk about draining you. Coach, the other day, I was at home. I went outside, did some yard work out in the back and got back in. And I laid down, I just felt like something wasn't right. Just maybe something wrong with me. I wasn't feeling too good. I said, man, maybe my health. I'm not sure. So I turned on the news and they said, yeah, the heat index is 115. I said, it's not me. It's just hot as hell outside. So it wasn't me. And I guess it's hard for me to actually come to grips with that because I love to be outside all the time. I'm an outdoors guy, but I'm having to limit my outdoors activities because I just can't handle it, man.
Well, it's pretty hot out, so I limit my ability to be out there also.
Yeah. Garrett, you out there? Photography,
I
videography.
am not out there right now.
You're taking a step.
I'm avoiding being outside right now. That's about to change, but I'm avoiding it right now.
But yeah, man, you got to stay hydrated, man. August, they said, the meteorologists, August might be the hottest month ever recorded since they've been taking a record of the heat index. And so that's going to be pretty interesting. So I know for me, with football season coming up, I got to stay hydrated. I'm running up and down the field as an official doing varsity football games. So I got to make sure I'm hydrated. But hopefully, those kids are hydrated. In Louisiana, one of the few places we actually take hydration breaks throughout the quarter. So, that is interesting moving forward. What you got, G?
One of the funniest things I saw on Facebook, I said, I'm tired of 100-degree days on Facebook. And somebody was like, I will welcome a hurricane right now. I'm like, I'm not going that far.
Yeah.
I am definitely not going that far.
The worst thing about welcoming a hurricane is the aftermath when it's steamy and hot again.
Trust me, I've been there.
And then no power, Well, no, I don't want a hurricane. Not this. No. But it'll be interesting now as we're moving forward. It's August. Coach, what you have coming up on your calendar as we getting closer towards football season?
Well, we know about Labor Day weekend, the New Road event. And after that, I go to Panama and oversee a clinic for the Major League Baseball Players Alumni Association. So we'll do that, and my schedule probably drops off a little after that. But, those are the two events that I know are etched in my schedule.
When is that event over in New Roads? I want to come over there and check that out. I like that New Roads area. It's something, it feels, so historical feeling. But we went to a New Roads Mardi Gras parade some years back. I've been over there a couple times. Good food over that way. I love food. And also, you have the lake right there. That used to be a part of the river. So when is your event, man? I want to get over there and check that out. If anybody else out there want to come over that way.
Well, this is my first time doing this. So remember, this is a 100-year anniversary. So they're going to have the beauty of it. They will have every class that have graduated from there, who people are still alive. Probably a lot of them will be in attendance. So it'll be interesting. This is huge.
It is. It sounds huge.
It is huge for that city. It's one of the biggest things that will have happened there. And to have a 100-year anniversary for something historical. This is why I needed to find out as much information so I can help people relive what they went through.
And I think you do a good job at storytelling. Being able to put it in perspective and giving it an interesting way, because there's no voice like a Roger Cador voice. I don't care where the hell you go in the world. If you open your mouth and somebody's heard your voice before, they're going to say it's Roger Cador.
It happens to me quite often. I was in San Diego, California at a ticket counter trying to get a ticket changed or whatever. And I was talking, and the guy said, "That ain't but one person with that voice," and it's Roger Cador. So it happens to me when I go out the country, too. The people notice the difference in my voice. So
being a son of New Roads, going back, having the honor to speak, knowing the success that you've had coming out of a place that probably it's not a lot of success, do you ever go back and just look around and say, wow?
Well, I'm the last person they would have thought. This is why you can't judge people when they're young all the time and say, this person going to be successful and this person going to be a failure. I was the least of the people would think could have done what I've been able to do, because I was at the bottom. So all you young people, if you're parents and you're listening, no matter how low your kid is, if they have desire and determination, they could do it, because I'm telling you, I was at the bottom of the totem pole. Athletic ability, reading ability, speaking, from every phase in life. I even didn't look right. But, just didn't give up. But it's going to be really good to go back. And I know a lot of the people we came through won't be there because they're not with us anymore. but just to be able to go back and see some of them. And I hope I see a couple of girls that I used to like and who wouldn't give me a time of day. You know what I'm saying?
I'm pretty sure the grandmas. Now, what you gonna do? What you gonna say to them? Hey, how you doing?
Yes.
Are you gonna be sharp as a tack, aren't you?
No.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to wear short pants because it's hot. It's going to be hot.
Oh, this is an outdoor event?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's going to be at the Scott Municipal Center.
Okay.
They're going to have big fans in there, but, I mean, they don't have nothing in your road that can accommodate where you be indoors.
And you want to see some of those old things that told you no? Back then you didn't want me, now I'm hot, y'all on me.
Man. I just want to see them. I just want to be able to see them. I'm not, it has nothing to put them down because they were making decisions based on what they knew.
Yeah.
You know, it didn't mean that. It was better for me because I needed to be concentrating, not distracted.
Yeah.
And, you know, and I didn't have a girlfriend until I was 22 years old.
Really?
Yeah, for 22. So that made I was able to concentrate, man.
It's a little bit different, but that's funny, the fact you said you would like to see him. You think it'll be a couple there? You think it'll be a couple of them there?
Well, I'm sure they will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's always interesting when you get through school and you go through life and you go back and you try to see what they look like now.
A lot of people are different. They don't quite look the same.
They don't. Them things that used to look good, it just a little.
They don't look good anymore.
You know, I look at that all the time, especially with I graduated high school going on now. Shoot, this is going on, the years fly by, almost 20 years, Coach, almost 20 years.
And my whole thing, Perry, is not about looking good. It's just about being able to laugh about something that happened, relive an event that happened. You know, at my age now, come on. I'm not interested.
You still find some, you're not, okay.
That's really
going down that walk down memory lane.
Yeah, that's really what I'd be more interested in. I'm not interested in going and relive no flame.
I'm thinking, hey, I get you. I read you loud and clear.
There was one lady, she kept worrying me, and I kept saying, I ain't going there.
She wanted some Roger Cador.
Yeah, and I said, when I wanted you, you didn't want me. I'm not interested.
Oh, that's how you do it.
Well,
that's how you do it. Come on now, that's how you do it. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at him rub his chin. You see him? That's how you do it. Back then you didn't want me. Now I'm hot. You all on me. You hearing about me everywhere. You see I'm in all these Hall of Fame. It's the entertainment, man. We know you're very humble. You're more humble than a lot of people probably would even think. So that's just me gonna hype that up. But
it's been a protection and very profitable for me to be the way I am.
Yeah, because they'll take your money too, man. Look, that's that's a conversation for a different day. But them steak dinners that add up, that lobster with them shrimps, all that. Man, Coach, we're getting ready to wind this thing down. About 10 more minutes left here on the show, man. You looking forward to the Little League World Series?
I did see something that is coming up, so it'll be nice to see.
Yeah. G, what about you? What you got going on? What's coming up? Football.
Band.
You ready?
No.
You got to get ready, man. It's not like it's just going to sneak up on us. We know when it's August what time it is. Yeah. Come on.
Yeah, no.
No.
Football moving tomorrow. Band moving on Sunday.
You busy?
It's roll time.
Will you be available Monday?
I'll be here, Coach. You ain't gotta worry. I'll be here. It's on the schedule. It is on the schedule.
Okay.
Coach, talk about your book out there for some people to get your book, Roger Cador Against All Odds.
Well, the book been out for a while, and it's a really good story, good read. It's something about my journey through life as I saw it. And, as I mentioned earlier, it's so encouraging to know that if you're going through some difficulties, you can make it, because if you read this book, you'll see that I didn't get to where I got on a white, or what you call it, when people float through the sky, on some blank.
What a magic carpet?
A magic carpet.
Oh,
Yeah. It was a everyday digging and fighting and dragging it and and believing in myself and not giving up.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a good book to read.
Against All Odds. That's by Roger Cador. You guys get out there, look it up. I'm sure you can Google it, find where you can order it from, and get an opportunity to look back at some of those stories he's talking about. He's going over to New Rose in his hometown to talk at the Rosenwald School. I guess paying tribute to 100+ years of educating black people across the nation and giving them opportunities to better themselves. And you, my friend, are one of those who actually benefited from that. And so this book right here give you an opportunity to talk about some stuff. Listen.
My very first coach, Roosevelt Collins, is still alive, and we still talk quite often. And we laugh a lot, and we talked about the fact that he cut me, and I came back the next day, and I often tell him, I'm glad the stay in your ground law wasn't in effect.
What?
Because had you stood your ground, you would have thrown me out of that gym.
Yeah.
And he laughed and laughed and laughed because, in the beginning when he first see me, he would cry.
Mm-hmm.
Because he know, had he cut me and he allowed me to come back.
Mm-hmm.
And all of that goes through a person's mind, when you do something and somebody go against it. That's not easy. That was being disrespectful what I did.
Mm-hmm.
He cut me. I should have accepted it.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't.
You don't take no for an answer.
Hell no, I didn't. And look at the difference because I didn't. I mean, that's why my wife, when she was alive, she used to tell my son, your dad is different, son. When he starts something,
you don't finish. You gon' finish.
I'm going to finish.
Yeah, you don't stop.
I don't stop.
Yeah.
And that's the only way I know.
Well, we got to stop today, unfortunately.
No!
We got to stop today. It's been a great show. I want to thank everybody for tuning in and everybody that's going to come in and tune in later. I know sometimes streaming during the day you can't watch it right then because you're at work, but I'm sure you're going to come back and watch it again later. Hit that subscribe button right there underneath the video as always to get that notification when we go live. All right? Never know when it may be. It could be a Monday. It could be a Tuesday. It could be a Wednesday. Whenever it is, you'll get the notification. You know exactly when we're doing it. And guess what? We love to have your support, and you can go back and watch any of these episodes of what we have done and where we're going in the future. We're going to keep making it happen, right? We're going to do what it do, Coach. We're going to keep doing it, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Of course, he's Roger Cador. I'm Perry White, my man on the board, Garrett Anderson. You got something for the people, Garrett, before we get out of here?
Stay hydrated.
Coach, give him the signature before we get out of here. How you get out of here?
Well, when he give it,
You good. There you go. We off you. And we out.